All right. We are live on a Saturday night. And the fun topic of this live while I finish the day is about mindset, buddy. I'm happy to talk about whatever, if anybody even joins on a Saturday night. For now, it's just me laughing by myself in this empty house with no one here. That's a fucking funny intro, man. Oh. In the background while I'm streaming this, I'm unfriending inactive friends on Facebook. Can't share screen on YouTube Live, so. Matt, how to prevent re-downloading apps on phone and falling back into bad habits like scrolling through Instagram. Permanently delete your account? At the end of the day, you just got to figure out how you can make it as hard as possible for you to not use that. So if you can download like an app that prevents you from using it, which there is a thing on iPhone, you can create like a screen time setting for the specific apps that are taking up all your time. Create as many barriers as possible. Delete it. I mean, delete the account. Yeah. Apps are ruthless, especially social media, man. The best thing also is just turn off your phone when you're going through the day working. As I type on my phone right now. But that's ultimately the best thing I can think of for you, Matt. How do you craft an offer that solves your market problem? Do you mean like once you've identified a problem in the market, how do you craft this? How do you like build the actual service that will solve that market problem? Yeah. I mean, generally speaking, you can just Google it. I mean, you're rarely ever going to be the first person. Like, for example, I discovered there was a huge demand. A market problem was that there wasn't enough Amazon advertising agencies. And I had no idea how to like how to get how to do Amazon advertising very well. But I just Googled it. I looked on YouTube. I looked for other people. I watched as many YouTube videos as I could. I read as many blogs as I possibly could. And I started doing this primarily like very heavily once I actually signed a client. So you can, generally speaking, just research and figure out how to learn the skill of the service that you're going to provide for the problem that you've identified in the market. Cool. Don't ever worry about the skill. Always just find the problem and then sign the client. Some people think you need the skill to be able to close the client. It's not really true. You just need to be able to kind of understand the skill deeper than the prospect. Yeah, you guys can ask mindset, unrelated things to mindset. That's totally fine. Andre, welcome. In the very beginning of your agency journey, when you were at $0 to $5,000 per month, how much agency work were you doing compared to education? Reading books, what was your split? Well, when I was doing zero, it was 100%. Okay, when I was doing zero, it was probably like 50% learning and 50% trying to apply what I've learned. And if I felt like I was getting traction with what I was taking action on, I would just tilt that even further and slow learning down to like 30% and try to just go all in 70% action. And then eventually, once you sign a client, then it's like 50-50 is fine, because you should be 50% of your time trying to figure out how to become the best service provider at whatever this client is paying you for. And the other 50% of the time should be, actually servicing that client. You could say 40%, and then 20% for prospecting, for finding new clients. But personally, for me, I probably spent 80, percent of my time learning and servicing the clients, 90%, sorry, and then maybe 10% trying to find new clients when I was at like $2,000 to $5,000 per month. Like this, you kind of just will be able to feel where you should put your time and energy. But Matt, how to balance energy plus agency plus college? Dude, I was working sometimes 10, 12 hours a day in construction, and I'd get home and I had to start working on my agency. I didn't want to do anything else. I don't want to say that as if like it was hard for me to do that. I mean, college is a bit different because you're paying to be there. Construction was like, I'm getting paid to be there. It's the complete opposite. So college, man, I would just time block 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 days, 6 days a week. Ideally 3 to 4 hours. You need a time block of like 3 hours at least to get any deep work done. Usually it takes you an hour just to get into like the zone. Sometimes an hour and a half. So if you can at least get like 2 hours of deep work per day, which is like 3 hours total of working. Yeah, dude, amazing. That's more than enough for you to get an agency off the ground. That's all I had personally, a few hours a day. I could spend more, but it's pretty damn tired from working in construction. Andre, I'm going to get to your questions here. Servius, Would you say it's a fulfilling investment to work on building a legit business that helps people when you're like 20 years old, or rather try to live life on budget, travel, and do all that later? I think your question is it better to spend your time working and building a business in your late teens, early 20s, or just not do that and like get a job and kind of just, I guess, live a normal life somewhat and budget your life because you're not going to be making that much money? Is that the question? It's all depending on what you want to do. I'd say it's the most fulfilling investment I ever made. I was like, I'm so happy I did what I did. But for me, there was no other option. I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to school. And I am not working in construction for the rest of my life. And so, yeah, dude, since I was like 17, 18, I was just like, I want to make money. I want to be free. I don't want to have a job. I want to figure out how to make money online. Since like grade 11, I started taking that seriously. I was like, okay. It got really serious after I graduated, though. I run a lead gen Facebook agency. This is Andre Santos. And I run ads from Facebook form for my clients, but they say the quality of leads is none, as they have to call like 160 leads to get one sale or so. Should I do lead gen the same and follow-up sequences, or would it be better to make conversion objectives to landing pages? Their budget is $400 a month. Andre, talk to the client, figure out what is that one lead that turns into a sale. If there's 160 leads, there has to be at least 10 to 15 that are decent. And then out of those 10 to 15 that are decent, they close one. Get them to send you the decent leads and give you a very clear idea on why those leads were decent, and the one that converted especially why it was good, and the other ones why they were shit. Once you can understand the difference, there's just a disconnect between you and what the client wants. Once you can understand the difference, you can tweak the copy, you can tweak the landing page, you can tweak the Facebook form so that when they answer a certain question, they're no longer sent to that client as a lead. You just need to filter it better. And that's a very easy thing to do. It just takes time and energy to understand the ideal client. It's great, though, that you're already getting leads and some of them are actually converting. Now you just need to like dig deep. That's really exciting. I love advertising. Fuck, I'd have a blast diving into that problem. That'd be really fun. My biggest fear as an agency owner is not being able to deliver results for the clients. Wow, that's also my biggest fear, Sam. We're on the same page. It was my biggest fear for a long time. How would you respond to prospects who say, can you guarantee results? I just tell them I can't, man. And the reason why is because there's so many different variables. Like, for example, for what we do, you could go out of stock. There's like the whole world could burn down. I wouldn't ever say that. But what I'm just trying to say is that, no, I can't guarantee anything. Nothing in life is certain. Why would a service be certain and have a guarantee? So I can't guarantee you that I'm going to increase your sales by $20,000 per month. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to get you a 5x ROAS. But I can guarantee you that like I'm going to work my ass off to make it happen. And I've already made it happen for other clients. And if you want to talk to them about the results that we've gotten them, I'm happy to give you a referral, a reference, or here's these case studies that we have. Now, if you don't have case studies and you don't have references, I mean, you kind of have to just like be very honest with them and say, I can't guarantee you the results. And to be honest with you, like, nobody can. And I think if anybody did try to guarantee you it, at the end of the day, like, how could they? They don't know how it's going to perform. You need to test things. And once you test things, you'll get feedback. So some people use that as a strategy. They offer guarantees. You know, in the beginning, I did it just because I was a bit nervous and I didn't feel comfortable, whatever. And so what I did is I said, look, I can give you a guarantee, but I need you to work with me for at least 2 months. I need 2 months of time. And if you're not happy at the end of the 2 months, I'll give you like an 80% refund. And if you're really unhappy, I'll give you all your money back. That's totally fine. But you're paying for the ad spend. And if you're happy with it, amazing. We're going to keep working together. And after that first 1 to 2 months, you can't 6 months later ask for all your money back. This is like an initial 1 to 2 month. Ideally, the shorter the time frame that you can give them, the better. Trial, more or less. Not trial, but just I'll give you a guaranteed money back. You have to pay me up front, but I'll give you your money back if you really want it and you really think my service absolutely sucks. I love saying that, and I said that in the beginning because usually when you address the prospect's biggest fear and you say, look, if my service sucks, sure, I'll give you your money back, but I can't guarantee you that I'm going to be able to get you results. At the end of the day, I think it's worth a test. I've looked at your account. I have experience with Facebook ads. I have experience with this. And I think it's worth a shot. And so let's put up $2,000-$3,000 worth of ad spend. Let's give it a shot. And if you're totally unhappy with my service at the end of this 2 months, totally fine. I'll give you all of the service fee money back. But I can't guarantee you that I'm going to be able to increase your sales by 20,000. Nobody can do that. Nothing's certain. I can't guarantee you what tomorrow is going to happen, what your sales are going to be tomorrow. That'd be like the ability to predict the future. So anyways, take all of that how you will and summarize it. They all give up on 1 month. Should I also move to a different digital marketing service? Andre Santos. No, man, you just need to get better at one, either working with companies that have a better, clear idea on who their ideal prospect is, because some companies probably have no idea, right? And then they give you this vague client avatar, and then you're screwed because they don't even know what they want. And if they don't know what they want, they're not an ideal client for you. They need to be very specific with what they want. They also need to have a very good sales process. One of the biggest problems with these lead generation agencies is like their clients don't know how to do effing sales. And I'm only kind of aware of this because there's a few lead generation marketing service agencies and Agency Enlightened back when it was called Lead Gen Enlightened. And that seems to be a recurring problem. And so ensuring that the client has a good sales process and ensuring that they have a very clear ideal prospect. How do you finish what you've started? What do you do? What systems do you use to stick it out until the end? That's an interesting question. Elvis, pessimistic. Wow, that's very close to pessimistic. I almost read that wrong. I mean, generally speaking, you just time block. Like you focus on one thing, which is that one thing you want to get done. You start it and you just keep working at it, man. I mean, it's that simple. I can't give it to you any other way. If someone told you need to use a software, that's ridiculous. You don't need anything. You just need to plan your day tomorrow, or write it out in a notebook, and that's as simple as that. When you are servicing a client, have you ever got them good results and they still weren't satisfied? Yeah, dude. We increased this one client's sales by like 50 grand a month at a very reasonable ACOS. ACOS is the opposite of ROAS, if you guys are familiar with advertising. And they left us. They were like, hey, we're not happy. And we kind of think that they just wanted us to launch a ton of campaigns and then they could walk away with the campaigns. And so sometimes it happens. Rarely, though. Very rarely. It's only happened a couple times, maybe 2 to 3 times in the last 4 years. We've been around since late 2016. So, yeah. Thanks. My only passions are building business, but I also love making music. Maybe you have some advice on balancing these two passions. Maybe work on business Monday to Friday and do music on weekends. Yeah, dude, that sounds amazing. Servius. There's a student in Agency Enlightened who he's like a producer, DJ. Like he's made some beats for artists that have, I don't know, millions of views on Spotify, I think. And he only makes like a couple grand a month with his music, but he runs this agency because, I mean, he needs more than a couple grand a month. I think that's how it is with him. And really cool dude. And yeah, the agency takes up a lot of his time, but he's building it up to a point where he can have more financial freedom and potentially spend more time on his music, I think, because I think he loves the music, but he also likes the agency. So it's kind of like you. 70% of your time on the agency is more than enough, you know? If you guys have more questions, drop them in the box. I got a video coming out tomorrow. No, Monday. How to pick a niche. I've made like 2 of these niche picking videos in the past, but this one's damn good. I feel like I hit it right on the head, and it's a good video. I'm pumped for you guys to see it. For the 9 people that are on this live chat. So, love it. Thank you so much. What top books would you recommend for an agency owner? I swear to God, I'm going to just put them behind me. I get that question like every week. Give me a minute. I'm just going to do this and probably leave them there for the rest of time. My books are all quite unorganized, partly because we moved into a new house. Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz is amazing. The one-page marketing plan is pretty good. Power versus Force by Dr. David R. Hawkins. It's not really for your agency. It's more for just understanding life in a highly from the viewpoint of context and not content, and the ability to just have nothing phase you. Like, you don't give a shit if Donald Trump wins, or if Hillary Clinton wins, or like stuff like that. It doesn't bother you when someone says they hate Trump or they love Trump. That book's amazing, and it's relevant for your agency, because when you have crazy positionalities and distortions in your lens of how you view life, it slows you down tremendously in your agency, because like things just bother you. They slow you down. Someone says something and it triggers you, and now you're like out of deep work for like an hour or 2 hours, or you're constantly trying to stay up to date with like political news, and it's useless. So that book's great, Power versus Force. I really liked Essentialism. That's a good book. Yeah, those are all pretty good books for just like starting out. I really like those books. What is your recommendations on how to source leads for companies that need help running Facebook ads? Currently struggling to find quality business to approach with the Trojan horse marketing. Yeah, well, what kind of business needs help with Facebook ads? That's probably why you're struggling, brother. Instant champion. You got to get clear on your buyer persona. What's your niche? This video I'm about to release is really going to help you. Please watch this video that I'm going to release on Monday. Great video. Best low ticket services? No idea. No comment, brother. I really don't know. Like, there's people that make these like best niches videos. I don't know how they make those videos. I mean, like, unless you have thousands upon thousands of agency owners who actually you verified that they have a business and that they're doing like over $10,000 per month, and then you run a survey and every single one fills out that survey, then you could say you have like an accurate data set to give you the best low ticket or high ticket services. I'm about to move out of my house and live from Salina to Salina on co-live plan. Eugenio Silva. That is legendary. Salinas is so cool, man. The co-live plan's epic. Aren't you from Panama? I always confuse your name with someone else who's also named Eugenio. What would you recommend to not lose focus and fuck my agency? Yeah, I would just recommend that you get very aligned with your schedule and make a schedule that makes you happy, because like hopefully you like your work. If you like your work, you're gonna want to work. And if you work, you're not gonna fuck your agency. As long as you have good Wi-Fi, which Salinas normally always has consistent Wi-Fi, you'll be fine. I worked out of Salinas in Playa Venal in December for like 2-3 weeks. I've never done that. I've never worked outside of my home for that long and gone somewhere with the intention of working there and like worked around humans. And it was it was fine. Obviously, it's a little bit less efficient than out of your house, but it's more creative, and you'll be fine. No recommendations really. Just stick to a schedule. Write out your next day and stick to it. But just make sure you take time to think about the schedule that you want to run on. You know, like I want to take Saturdays and Sundays off. Cool. Take those days off. Or I want to work from, you know, like noon to 8 p.m. Or I want to work from like 7 a.m. to like 8 p.m. Whatever your time is. Just try to get clear on that schedule. That's how I operate. Everybody's different. Like my business partner, she just works like 4 or 5 hours, then goes and does something and comes back, works like 2-3 hours. It works for her because she's a visionary and she's all over the place. And so it depends on your personality type as well. Maybe this rigid schedule thing doesn't work for you. But in my opinion, as long as you're working 8 hours a day, or at least like 6 hours of deep work, you should be fine. The harder you work and the smarter you work, the faster it grows. I don't know what the bare minimum is to keep your agency alive. What were your biggest limiting beliefs when you first started your agency? Probably that I was not qualified to receive what the client was paying me. Lack of confidence in myself, because this dude, like my first client was like $4,000 a month, and I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. I've never seen that much money ever reach my bank account from one person for something I've never even really have that much experience on. And so it was imposter syndrome was the worst thing that I had to deal with. And after about, how did I fix it? I just worked my ass off. I spent that $4,000 the client gave me on like courses and consulting and training on Amazon advertising, and I just went all in. And then after I actually got like trained on Amazon advertising, it's kind of like when you get your PhD or your diploma and you're like, now I feel qualified and I don't feel like an imposter because I have this little piece of paper and it's a, what is the word? It's a permission slip for you to feel okay and worthy of receiving X amount of money. Or, once you get that diploma for like, now you're a certified chiropractor, now you feel like you're worthy of actually receiving money for being a chiropractor. Same thing. I just needed to get the training. And then once I got results for the clients and several clients, it was like, boom, gone. Now I'm going to take over the world. My 19-year-old, 18-year-old self thought I was going to be a billionaire by like 22. I was like, I'm going to be worth $3 billion by 22. I still have the notepad where I wrote that. It's hilarious. God knows what I would do with that money. I have no idea. What do you do when your mind gets cluttered up? Do you write stuff out on paper? If I notice my mind, when you say mind gets cluttered up, for me, I don't really think of it like that. I think of it as like I'm lacking discipline and I'm unable to control the animalistic urges. And the animal self, which is the primitive part of your brain, it's the reptilian brain, everyone has it, is more dominant than the prefrontal cortex brain, which I'll call the higher self, which allows you to control the body. And so when that happens, when the animal self takes over, and when it starts to dominate the higher self, I will usually take radical measures to get rid of it. And I'll do that by just like cutting out things like whatever it is, whatever I think is whatever weeds are in the garden. Maybe I started eating bad food. Maybe I just started like ordering food. Maybe I like had a dessert yesterday and now I'm having a dessert today. And then I had a dessert for the third day in a row. And like, I normally don't do that. And because I did that, my digestive tract is fucked. And then because of that, I don't feel that good. And because of that, I don't meditate. And then you can start to see how like, it can start to affect everything. And the second order consequences of these decisions, especially ones that are, more animalistic, like there's tons. I mean, there's buying junk food, eating junk food, doing drugs, playing video games. What's other crazy animalistic shit that humans do? Watching porn, stuff like that. I mean, let's just be real. All of those things are not at all helpful for your evolution of in this life. And so you just got to cut them out and pull the weeds out of the garden, get them out. How would you go about doing cold outreach to services in the health and medical industry, chiropractors and dentists? Well, that's an older demographic. I mean, generally speaking, the chiros and dentists that own those companies are still boomers. And so I know a guy who runs an agency doing about $600,000-700,000 a month. And in the medical industry, he found that direct mail performed extremely well with them. So why do you think that is? Because these people are boomers. I mean, that's what they know. Like direct mail is more effective than email because they can barely type on a computer because they didn't grow up with a computer. So yeah, like you got to think about your industry. You got to think about your target demographic. You got to think about your ideal client avatar. And you got to think to yourself, okay, I can test out Trojan horse marketing, but if these emails aren't getting opened, if these emails aren't getting read, if they're not getting responded to after I send about 250 of them, why is that? What can I test? Well, direct mail. Send them letters. And don't just send it in a white blank envelope that looks like a phone bill or it looks like spam. Buy some cool ass old-fashioned letters with old-fashioned paper and, write on it, customize it, sign it, fucking stamp that shit with red seal wax, make it unique and send 200 of them. Dear Lord, if everybody on planet Earth wanted to start a marketing agency and they wanted to sign dentists as clients, all you got to do is find 200 dentistries that aren't running advertising, that have an established location and decent website, but not really running any ads, and just send them a damn letter, old-fashioned styled letter, old-fashioned styled paper within the letter and a red seal stamp. And then inside that letter, you just need to talk about how you help dentists get more patients with Facebook ads, marketing. That you could probably just do that. Send 200 of those. Guaranteed you'll get at least 2 clients if you have a decently written message. And if you want to know how to copyright, Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Good book. How to Write a Good Advertisement. It's also a good book. Aha moment. You're a fucking legend. Sam90. Thank you. All right, you guys. I love you deeply. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your Saturday. Thank you for tuning in. There's only 6 of us on this call, but you are the legendary ones tuning in on a Saturday night and trying to, improve your life. This video and this live stream was about nothing else. So much love. And Eugenio, enjoy the traveling. I'm really pumped for you, man. You'll have to let me know how that goes. Gregory, as always, thanks for the value. Oh, shit. We have somebody doing 10, 15K per month. Hold on. HPC Studio. Doing 10, 15K a month. It's not bad. Social media management, done for you service. Not bad. And one-on-one coaching. Not the best at hiring for service delivery. Whoo! Any books or courses you might recommend? You have tuned in at the right time. I will egotistically tell you that I'm the greatest human on earth right now to answer that question. I'm just kidding. I will do my best to answer it, though. No courses, no books. Actually, books. I'll give you a couple books. Laszlo Block, Work Rules. See that book right there? That's a good book right there, Work Rules. Really good book on people, okay? I'll give you one more book. And then I'm going to tell you the last thing, which is the most important. So, Mr. HPC Studio, give me your name. I want to know what your name is so I can address you properly while I find this book. Where are you? It's too many books, man. We may not ever find it. Hamilton. All right, well, basically the concept, oh, wait, hold on, it's coming to me. Top something. Fuck, man, what is the name of this thing? All right, you don't even need to read the book. Here's what's important that you understand. That people are willing to give you a reference. Just always make sure that whenever you start the interviewing process, before they even apply to work with you, somewhere on the application page, you should be telling them that part of this interview process is that you are going to ask for a reference. Anybody, any reference, it's your choice. You get to ask. Top Grading, that's the name of the damn book. Top Grading. T-O-P, grading, G-R-A-D-I-N-G. You don't even need to read the book. The concept is that simple. You just it's called a reference check. And you just tell them that in the beginning because it's a threat of reference check. They call it torque. Torquing is an important thing. It scares the hell out of shit talent. Shit talent isn't going to be willing to give you a reference because they don't have anybody to reference to other than like their best friend. So yeah. Anyways, the best thing you can do though is to find a recruiter. Go on Upwork, find a recruiter. Now you might be thinking, how do I find a recruiter? Because dear Lord, I mean, you're hiring someone to hire someone for you, right? It's kind of interesting. You're not hiring them to hire them, but you're hiring someone to find people that you can interview, that you can hire. Best thing I ever did was hire a recruiter. You have to ideally look for somebody and find somebody that has experience hiring for what you are looking for, which is social media management, okay? So search up social media management recruiters or marketing recruiters, and that's pretty much it. So the recruiter is the best thing you can do because it's a lot of time and energy to recruit, and sourcing, which is the art of finding quality prospects, which is prospects meaning ideal candidates for the job, is a hard thing. It takes a lot of time, you know, and if you want to hire multiple virtual assistants and have them farming a list of ideal potential hires, it's going to take you a lot of time. It's going to cost you a decent amount of money. Hiring a recruiter would be much better. Hire the recruiter. Make sure they are paid hourly. Don't pay them 20% of first year salary or 40% of first year salary. You don't need to do that starting out. And yeah, that's what I would recommend, dude. Pumped for you. Congrats on reaching 10 to 15K per month. And yeah, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, dear Lord, that's the only thing I ask of you. Find that recruiter, man, and then come back on the next live stream. Let me know how it's going. Interviewing and all that other stuff. Yeah. All right, much love, you guys. This has been epic. Love you guys deeply. Good night.